Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I hope you're all well, inshallah. May Allah increase you and make this of benefit. Ameen. Just some house rules before we get started, inshallah. Just a reminder, can everyone put their mics on mute? And any questions you have during the session, put them in the chat, and inshallah, either myself or one of the other teachers will answer them, inshallah. Okay, so a reminder from last week. I hope everyone here benefited from revision class. A reminder from last week's main lesson. The 5 words that we introduced you to, ismun, fi'lun, harfun, kalimatun, and jumlatun. We gave you a tiny bit more detail on ismun, fi'lun, and harfun. And inshallah, today we're going to move on to jumlatun. So we're going to give you a little bit more detail about sentences. And first, we are going to do this in English. So today's going to be an English lesson in the beginning. So I'm going to switch over to lesson 6. Lesson 6. Bismillah. So as we said earlier, last week we mentioned that the parts of speech in English, such as nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositions, pronouns, etc. In English, there's many. There's 8 parts of speech. However, in Arabic, there's only 3 categories: ismun, fi'lun, and harfun. So all of these 8 categories in English, they fall under one of the 3 categories in Arabic. So as we can see in the table, ismun, noun, includes adverbs, adjectives, pronouns, and nouns. So all of these in English come under the category of noun in Arabic. Verbs and particles, you have prepositions and conjunctions and more. They fall under harf or particle. So Arabic is a bit more easier to analyze. When we're looking at sentences, it's I would say it's easier than English. Alhamdulillah. Okay. So this next part here, subject, mubtada, predicate, khabar, object, maf'ul, is one of the main takeaways. So this is where I want you to get your notebooks out, your Google Docs open, anywhere where you take notes, and I want you to make note of these 3 words in Arabic and in English. Subject in English, mubtada in Arabic, predicate, khabar, object, and maf'ul. So everyone should have these 3 words in English and Arabic written down. And we're going to go into more detail of what they are, both in English and both in Arabic. So, nominal sentences, one type of sentence. In English, first of all, you need a subject. Every sentence in English, you need a subject. So in general, the subject refers to the part of the sentence that tells you who or what the sentence is about. The subject can be a noun, pronoun, or noun phrase in English. Examples of subjects in sentences can be seen below. So we have Kelly walked down the street. Kelly is the subject, and Kelly is a noun. They went to school. They is the subject, and they in English is a pronoun. The black cat slept all day. The black cat is a noun phrase, and it is the subject. There are a few different types of subjects. A simple subject, such as Kelly or they, without any modifiers, without any extra kind of information about the subject. Or a complete subject, is, or a compound subject. Let's ignore complete subject for a minute. You have simple subject, you have compound subject. So a compound subject is made up of more than one subject element, like the black cat. You have more information about the subject. Simple subject, Kate is a nice girl, and the compound subject, as difficult and as compounded, Jeffrey's poem about his mother made the class cry. So the subject is poem, but you have all of the extra information that it's Jeffrey's poem and it's about Jeffrey's mother. So all of it counts as the subject, but the main subject is poem, and this is an example of compound subject. Or you can say Paul and Tommy joined the soccer team, joined the football team at the same time. So in this case, you have two subjects, Paul and Tommy, two participants. Notice that the subject comes before the verb in each sentence. So in English, it's very important that you have subject, verb, object syntax. So the order of the sentence, the order of the words are very important in the English language, but in Arabic, it's a bit more flexible. And there's other ways. So in English, we know it's a subject because it comes first. So Kate is a nice girl. We don't say, is a nice girl Kate. It's always the subject comes first. Subject, then the verb, and then the object. Now, the predicate of a sentence is information, or in Arabic, khabar, that includes the verb and everything that follows it. So this typically tells what the subject does with an action verb or describes the subject. It gives you information about the subject. Khabar is literally, it means news. So you have the mubtada and the khabar, you have news about the subject. So in the examples we saw earlier, Kelly walked down the street. Kelly is the subject, and then walk down the street is the predicate. So the predicate of this sentence is walk down the street. They is the subject in the next one, and went to school is the predicate. It's the information of what they did. It answers the question, what did they do? And then we have Allah is the most forgiving. So Allah is the subject, and most forgiving is the information about Allah. It's the predicate about Allah. And this analysis of sentences is going to be very important later on. And inshallah, we will all be experts at this in Arabic. So whenever we see a sentence, we can say, this is the subject, this is the khabar, this can't be the subject because of such and such reason, etc., etc. All of these words make up the complete predicate. So walk down the street, the whole of it is the complete predicate of the sentence. The verb alone is the simple predicate. As with subjects, it's also possible to have a compound predicate that consists of two different actions. So, for examples, the simple predicate, Harry cried. Harry is the subject, cried is the predicate. Or the compound, complicated predicate is the mouse slowly ran towards the food. So all of slowly ran towards the food is the predicate, the compound version. The second example, she laughed at the dog's tricks and decided to adopt him. Everything after she is the predicate. She is the subject, and everything else here is the predicate. So predicates can contain a good deal of information, as we've seen earlier. They often have several parts in addition to the verb, including objects, complements, and even brand new sentences with its own subjects. So it can get a lot more complicated. But as we've said to you before, we're introducing you, and then inshallah, we're going to give you more details and then become stronger and stronger and stronger. So now that you know the two main parts of a sentence, take a look at how optional elements work. So Harry cried here is a complete sentence. You don't need anything else. All of the, to have a complete sentence, all of the elements in this example are present, and it's not a part of speech or half a sentence. It's a complete sentence. Harry cried. In terms of the other elements that are optional, you have the maf'ul, or the object. So objects are nouns or phrases that are included in the predicate, and they answer the question that begins with what, who, or whom. So for example, Susan bought the gift. The gift is the object. So in the earlier sentence, the simple predicate, Harry cried, you don't need any extra information. It's complete. It gives you the meaning. Harry cried. If we were to just say Susan bought, and we put a full stop after bought, the sentence would be incorrect because we don't have a meaning from that sentence. Susan bought what? It's incomplete. So there's certain verbs that you need an object and certain verbs that you don't need an object. So for example, Susan bought, you need an object. Susan bought the gift. What did Susan buy? Susan bought the gift. He wrote a letter. If we ended it with he wrote, it wouldn't make sense. It's not complete. It doesn't give you a complete meaning. So with the addition of the object, it completes the meaning of the sentence. He wrote a letter. The boy threw the ball. Same thing. What did the boy throw? He threw the ball. The ball is the object. And in Arabic, the object is maf'ul. Maf'ul. It can also answer the question, who? So Susan bought him the gift. Him is the object. Him is answering the question, who did she buy it for? He wrote me a long letter, and the boy threw his mother. So both me and his mother are the objects that received the action by the subject. Now, apologies if this is a little bit heavy, but inshallah, it should be simple for everyone. But we don't really study English grammar in the UK anymore. It stopped a long time ago. So this will be a good reminder for you all and for me as well, inshallah. So before we go into lesson 7, the main takeaways are these 3 here. And we're going to go into sentences in more detail later on. But all I want you to understand, what is a subject, what is a predicate, and what is an object. And if you have that in your notes, then alhamdulillah, you've taken the main point from this lesson. Subject, mubtada, predicate, khabar, and object, maf'ul. The Arabic words, you should memorize them, and we're going to see them over and over and over again. So it's only 3 words, but you're going to see them very often later on. Before I continue, Ustaz Sadiq, is there anything else you want me to cover on this topic? Or anything you would like to add?
Nothing else really. There is a question. Maybe if you can just go over the
subject
terminology again. Yeah.
Yes. So could you also say that
best to stick to the terminology that we're covering and just elaborate on the meaning? Yeah.
So actor is a different category of categorization, and it has a deeper meaning than subject in the English language. So actor is actually more comprehensive than subject. So for now, all you need to know is the subject. So as long as you understand what the subject and what the object and the khabar is, then that's fine. You don't need to go into actor or receiver, etc.
Ustad Hamza, I think the way you're doing is easy and simpler. you go ahead with, I think you're understanding it, unless some other people want to ask questions.
Yeah, actor is another level on English grammar. It's a lot more comprehensive than subject. Is it correct that we say mubtada and khabar in case of jumlat al-ismiya and maf'ul is for jumlat al-fi'liya? This is a good question, but you use maf'ul for jumlat al-ismiya, and we'll come to that later on as well when we go into more detail. Could you please write them words in Arabic such as mubtada? Yes, we'll send that on the WhatsApp group, inshallah, later on. And it will come up later on as well.
Yeah, I think,
okay.
If some might be useful for the students who are new is we're going through this step by step. So this lesson actually covers the English terminology, helping you understand from the English perspective. Then we're introducing the Arabic terminology.
Next.
Later on, you'll come up step by step. So if it's already obvious to you, please be patient and allow other students to learn.
Yeah, inshallah. Jazakallah. Yeah, inshallah. The next lesson now is we're going to go over the Arabic version. So, Bismillah. Lesson 7, types of sentences. So again, more details about the types of sentences now in the Arabic terminology. So we have two types. There's more, but two categories of sentences. Jumlatul khabariyya here on the right, and Jumlatul insha'iyya. Informative sentences and non-informative sentences. Now, as the name suggests, a Jumlatul khabariyya gives you information. And there's many types of Jumlatul khabariyya. As we can see below, Jumlatul ismiyya, he is a boy. Jumlatul fi'liyya, Allah created mankind, and others. A tree is in front of the house. So there's many different kind of sentences that fall under the category of Jumlatul khabariyya. Then we have Jumlatul insha'iyya, which is non-information. These sentences don't provide you any new information. They are, some examples are an amr, which is imperative or a command. So in a command, I'm telling you do this. I'm not giving you any information. I'm ordering you to do something. Ijlis, sit down. I'm not giving you any knowledge or information about a subject. Then we have nahi, which is the prohibitive version. Don't do it. La tajlis. And then we have istifham, which is just asking a question. Interrogative. Is he a boy? Is that a ball? I'm not providing you with any information in that sentence. I'm asking for information. So these all will come under non-informative sentences. And these two types should be written down in your notebooks. Jumlat al-khabariyya and Jumlat al-insha'iyya. Okay, some more details about them and some more examples. So Jumlat al-insha'iyya, ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل. Have you not seen how your Lord did? ألم ترى كيف فعل ربك. This is a question. So there's no information provided in this sentence. Then we have informative sentences, Jumlat al-khabariyya. We have Jumlat al-ismiyya, which means a nominal sentence, which is what we saw above. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All the praise is for Allah. It starts with a noun. It starts with an ism, and that's why it's called Jumlat al-ismiyya. Then we have Jumlat al-fi'liyya, which is the example, Khatama Allahu ala qulubihim. Allah has sealed their hearts. Allah protect us from that. Ameen. So this sentence starts with a verb, khatama, and that's why it's called Jumlat al-fi'liyya, the verbal sentence. Then we have Jumlatul Shartiyah, which is a conditional sentence. If you go to the shops, I will be happy. In this case, أينما تكونوا يأتي بكم الله جميعا. Wherever you are, Allah will bring you all together. So wherever you are, Allah will bring you all together. It's the first part. We'll come to that later, but it's a condition. And then Jumlatul Dharfiyah. أمام البيت مسجد. There is a mosque in front of the house. And we'll explain Jumlatul Dharfiyah and Shartiyah and Fi'liyah and Ismiyah all later on. We're just giving you the first exposure to these sentences. And we have some more examples further down. So, like the question, each type of sentence has components to it. So, al-jumlatul ismiyah in the first one, it has a mubtada and it has a khabar, which we learned earlier on. We have a subject and we have news about that subject. So the example, Muhammadun Rasulun. Muhammad is a messenger. Muhammad is the subject, and messenger is, or Rasulu, is the information about Muhammad, or the khabar or news about Muhammad. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then we have Jumlatul Fi'liyah, which has a fi'lun, a fa'ilun, and a maf'ul. And a maf'ul. It has the verb, it has the doer of the verb, and it has the receiver of the verb. So this is also object, but you have the verb, you have the doer of the verb, and you have the receiver of the verb. So the example, Nasara Majidun Hamidan. Nasara Majidun Hamidan. Majid helped Hamid. This is a simple Jumlatul Fi'liyah. And this is mainly what you need to focus on right now, these two types. The other ones we will go in later on in more detail as we get further nearer the end. Jumlatul Insha'iyah, Amrun or Nahi, so a command to do something, Amrun, the imperative, the command to do something, and Nahi, Irhamna, be kind to us, Irhamna, to us, and La takfur, don't disbelieve, La takfur. So we have the Amr, the command, and the Nahi. Then we have Jumlatul Shartiyah, and we have the Shart, and we have the Jaza'un. We have the condition, and Jaza'un is the second part.
The result.
The result, that's the word. Thank you. In tadrus tanjih. If you study, you will pass. In tadrus tanjih. And then the last example, we have Jumlatul Dharfiyah, which can be Khabru Muqaddamun or Mubtada Mu'akharan. Again, we'll go into these later. Where I said the Mubtada and the subject in English has to come first, these are examples of where the subject doesn't have to come first in Arabic, but we still know it's the subject. So it's a subject that comes later on in the sentence. Amam al-masjidi shajaratun. In front of a tree is in front of the masjid, of the mosque. So all of these types of sentences we're going to study in much more detail later on, inshallah. I believe that's it for this lesson. The takeaways from this, I would say if you memorize the first two boxes, Jumlatul Ismiyah and Jumlatul Fi'liyah, this is enough for this lesson at the moment. The rest is just good to know, your first introduction. But the first two boxes, Jumlat al-Ismiya and Jumlat al-Fa'liya, those two words, and Jumlat al-Khabariya and Jumlat al-Inshaya. So these two categories, and then those two categories. They should be in your notebooks, and they should be written down and understood, inshallah. Just looking at the questions now. I don't think there's anyone regarding this. Okay, Bismillah. Ustaz Sadiq, anything you want to add from this?
Nothing to add. Again, just reiterate the structure we're introducing and the terminologies that you've mentioned. The Jumlatul Khabariya, which is informative sentence. The other category we've introduced is Jumlatul Insha'iyya, non-informative sentence. They're the two categories we've touched on, and subcategories you touched on is Jumlatul Ismiya and Jumlatul Fi'liya. These are extremely important. You have to understand Jumlatul Ismiya and Jumlatul Fi'liya by the end of Module 1. That's a must. So just that's how important it is. We're introducing it now. You've got lessons coming up where we'll go into it deeper. So Ustaz Hamza will go into Jumlatul Ismiya separately. Another lesson where we'll go through Jumlatul Fi'liya separately for you to understand it better with examples and breaking it down, inshallah.
So this was just a little bit of information about sentences. So remember in the last week we did a little bit about Ismun, a little bit about Fi'lun, and a little bit about Harfun. We gave you just a taster, and this is the taster for sentences. Now we're inshallah going to go a bit deeper into Ismun. So lesson 8. This is as Ustad Sadiq said in the last course, this is where it starts to get juicy. And these are the properties of a noun. The properties of a noun. And these are very, very important. We're going to go over them many, many times. And inshallah, again, by the end of Module 1, that you'll know them by heart very easily. So, Bismillah. In order to understand Quranic Arabic grammar fully, it is essential to learn and understand the 4 properties of an ismun. So nouns have 4 properties. In terms of their chronological order, others follow a different order. So every course, any grammar course that you take, they all include these 4 categories, but they might do them in different orders and different methods. But they will have these 4 properties. The reason we chose this order is because I'rab, the first one, is the most important. Why do we follow this order? النحو روح اللغة العربية والإعراب روح النحو. Nahu, which is I'rab, is the soul. Nahu is grammar, and is the soul of Arabic, and I'rab is the soul of Nahu. So remember earlier in the last week we said there's 2 categories of grammar. You have Nahu and you have Sarf. I think it was in lesson 1 with the terminologies, Nahu and Sarf. Sarf is the morphology, how a word changes, and Nahu is this thing called I'rab, essentially. Arabic nouns have endings, the 4 IT and G, I'rab, type, number, and gender. Qasmun, Adadun, and Jinsun. You will learn these off by heart very soon, inshallah. So I'rab. Arabic nouns have endings. I'rab, harakat is the last letter of the noun, on the last letter of the noun, showing their role in a sentence with dhamma or fatha or kasra. So the examples we have al-kitabi, al-kitabu, and kitabah. Let me zoom in a little bit.
Kitaban.
Kitaban, yes. So they all mean book. All of these words mean book or our book. The book. Al-Kitabi, the book. Al-Kitabu, the book. Kitaban. Why are they different? And this is what I'rab explains. What are the differences in these three words, even though they all mean book? And that's why I'rab is the soul of Nahu and the soul of Arabic. To find out why is there a kasra, why is there a dhamma, why is there a fatha. This is what we're trying to learn. And this will become easy to dissect and analyze, inshallah, by the end of module 1. Then we'll move on to type. The type of a noun, which we mentioned in the little bit of information in last week. Nouns can be common or proper, which was ma'rifa, or they can be nakira. I personally like known or unknown. Ma'rifa is known and nakira is unknown. But we want to expose you to all of the different terminologies that people use so that you don't get confused. By the end of this module, you will know everything and you won't have any gaps, inshallah. So Arabic nouns are common or proper. Nakira, ma'rifa. By default, ismun, nouns are common. So the default position is that a noun is a common noun, a nakira, unless it fulfills the criteria of the proper noun. So remember, we learned how to change from a nakira to a ma'rifa by adding an al, etc. So unless they have those conditions, then all nouns are nakira. You also have that's a number. Number comes in later. So that's T. Then we have N, which is number. Free version, singular. Rajulun, the dual version, rajulani, and a plural version, rijalun. They all mean men, man, two men, and more than three or more men. As we mentioned earlier again in last week, that in Arabic we have the dual version. We don't have in English. So plural numbers have three types. Three types: sound, broken, and plural in meanings. This is something we will come into later. All you need to know from now is that there's three versions: singular, dual, and plural. We'll get into sound, broken, and plural in meanings later, inshallah. Then we have G, which stands for gender. So again, we said that all nouns are either masculine or feminine. Now, every noun is considered, the baseline is considered masculine unless there's some sign that it's feminine. And we'll go into what all of those signs are later on in more detail. Feminine by any of the categories mentioned later. For example, nouns ending with a ta marbuta, al alif maksura, or a hamza. We shall learn these in a chapter later, inshallah. So, these are the four properties that we will learn everything about, inshallah, bi'idhnillah. And through this, we'll be able to analyze a noun and its role in a sentence and know everything about it, inshallah. The main takeaway from lesson 8, obviously you have the four categories, and the i'rab is the main thing that we're trying to uncover. It's the soul of Nahu. Why is there a kasra? Why is there a dhamma? Why is there a fatha? That's what i'rab is. What is the word status? So now we will go further into i'rab in lesson 9. I'rab status, the first property of a noun. This order, by the way, you have to memorize as well. ITNG. Bismillah. So we mentioned earlier that in order to understand Arabic grammar Quranic Arabic grammar fully, it is essential to learn the four properties of ism. They are i'rab, qasmun, adadun, and jinsun. Type, number, and gender, ITNG. The status varies according to their function or role in the sentence. So the different categories in a sentence are the subject and the predicate. For example, in the noun, or in the fa'il version, you have the fa'il, fa'il, and maf'ul. So the role of the word in the sentence, that's the reason why we have i'rab. We shall study these in detail later on in the class. I'rab, Arabic nouns have three types of endings which are marked by three vowels, Dhamma, Kasra, and Fatha. So, Dhamma, al-kitabu, kitabun, Muhammadun, al-babu, and babun. The meanings of the words at this point is not important. The main thing is that you see that the end letter ends in a Dhamma. Either one Dhamma, singular Dhamma, or a Dhammatain, two Dhammas. Kitabun, or singular al-kitabu. So the main point of Dhamma, of this, is all of those words end in a Dhamma. Then we have Fatha. Al-kitaba, kitaban, Muhammadan, al-baba, and baban. Same words, but they all end in a Fatha. And then the last one, Kasra. Al-kitabi, kitabin, Muhammadin, al-babi, and babin. I'rab is the harakat on the last letter of the ism, of the noun. According to the endings, they are given a different status. So, for example, if the ism ends with a dhamma, as we saw in the first line, then the i'rab of that word is called marfu, or in short, rafa. This is something you have to write down. You have i'rab. I would say you have to write down this definition. I'rab varies according to the function or role in a sentence. This sentence needs to be written down. And then this sentence, these sentences here. If the ism ends with a dhamma, then its i'rab is called marfu. You don't need to know what it means. You just need to know that's what it's called at the moment. So its status is marfu, or in short, rafa. Marfu and rafa are the same thing. Number two, if the ism ends with a fatha, then its i'rab is called mansoob. The status of that noun is mansoob, or in short, nasab. These have to be written down. And then lastly, if the ism ends with a kasra, then its i'rab is called majroor. Majroor status, or in short, jar. This thing here, these three sentences are the most important thing that we have learned so far in terms of learning Arabic grammar. So I want to give you time to make sure that you've all written that down now, inshallah. So if I were to ask you, al-kitabu, what's its status? You will say its status is rafa, or its status is marfu. And if I were to ask you, what is the status of, or what is the i'rab of al-kitaba? You will say mansub, or nasab. And lastly, if I were to ask you what is the status of babin, you will all say its i'rab is majroor, or its i'rab is jar. Okay? I can't emphasize how important this is enough. Okay, before I move on, I want to see if there's any more questions, and I will zoom out a little bit. Thank you. I said this type also known as article. Yes, type is known as article. Well, article is al, or a and the. You're able to watch the video. Okay, good. Okay, so no questions. So this is i'rab, and I hope by now all of you have written that down in your notebooks, inshallah. Now we will move on to type, qasm. Alhamdulillah, we're doing good on time. And hopefully everyone understands. And if there's anything you don't understand, asking questions is a good thing. And we encourage you to ask questions. It doesn't annoy anyone, and it shouldn't annoy anyone. And it's the way to gain knowledge. So ask questions, and obviously attend the revision class where you get 2 teachers to ask questions in a more relaxed setting, inshallah. Okay, bismillah. Type of noun, al-kismu. We mentioned in an earlier lesson that in order to understand Quranic Arabic grammar fully, it is essential to learn and understand the 4 properties of ismun, or a noun, which are i'rab, type, number, and gender. This lesson is to do with the type, and we've covered this last week. But we're going to go over things many, many times, so that by the end of the module, you've heard and you've listened to it a million times, and you're happy with it. It's in your heart. It's comfortable. So bismillah. So for example, if I say a boy, it does not specify which boy. This is a indefinite nakira. In this case, the noun boy is common. Common, indefinite, unknown, nakira. But if I say the boy, or I say Ahmed, this time I have specified the boy. It's not just any boy, it's the boy, or it's Ahmed. So it will be labeled as ma'rifah. It is known, it is common, it is proper, and it's definite. In Arabic language, by default, all ismuns are common. All ismuns are unknown, nakira. And the common noun may become ma'rifah, as we learned last week. Some examples below. Nakira, nouns. Rajul, we'll start from the right. Qalamun, assuming. Indefinite, common, or unknown. Qalamun, a pen. Baqaratun, a cow. Madinatun, a city. Kitabun, a book. Rajulun, a man. And then in contrast, ma'rifa nouns. Al-Hajarul Aswad, the black stone. Mecca, Mecca is specific. Why is Medina not specific? Medina means a city. So you can say Medina till Mecca, the city Mecca. But Mecca is specific. It's the city Mecca. Whereas Medina is any city can be called Medina. So Mecca, and then you have Muhammadun and Al-Qalamu, the pen. Not a pen, the pen. Alhamdulillah, we've gone through all of this. 5 lessons.
But we don't need al before Makkah, right?
No.
That is definite itself.
Okay.
So
same with, for example, Muhammad. You don't need al. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't need it.
The name of the place, that's why.
Yeah.
That's how it's spelled.
Makkah too, not tun. Okay.
Okay, so for now, for the next few minutes, before we move on, actually, takeaways from this. You have to know from this session that you have nakira, and nakiras can be turned into ma'rifah. Nakiras can be turned into ma'rifah. if they have modifiers, which is, for example, al or hadha. And we'll go into that later on, inshallah. Okay, so before we move on to the vocabulary list, are there any questions on lesson 10, lesson 9, or any of the lessons?
There is a question about the word Medina. I had a feeling it was going to come up when you said Medina is a city, so I'll answer that. So the Medina you're probably thinking of, the official title is Al-Medinatu Munawwara, which means I think the best way to translate is the illuminated city. And as Brother Asad mentioned, also known as Medinatun Nabi, i.e. the city of the Prophet. But yeah, just Medina by itself is any city, but Medinatun Munawwara is the official title. Likewise, you might hear Makkatul Mukarrama, blessed Makkah. That's the title. So that's how you know it. But generally, in this is where language comes in. When we're speaking, when we say Medina, we often mean the holy city Medina.
Wouldn't Medina be as a marketplace?
No.
No.
Medina is the word for city. There's other words for market like souk and etc.
Sister Rima said she feels like we've gone through lessons 9 and 10 very fast. Perfect. Alhamdulillah, we have lots of time, so we can go over it again, inshallah. And this is what I want to see from you all. The worst thing is that you could go away from the lesson and not happy with it, but not have learnt from it. So
we still have half an hour to cover the lessons we've gone through today.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll go over lesson 9 and 10 again, inshallah, just so that it's secure, because we want to learn things in detail, not quickly. Okay, so lesson 9, which is the most important one, is i'rab. I'rab varies according to their function or role in the sentence. So in English, in the first lesson, when we did the English sentences, we said that there's a subject and there's a predicate. This is a function. Subject is a function in the sentence, and predicate is a function or a role in the sentence. So the i'rab will change depending whether the word is the subject or a predicate. So for example, in this word where we have book, al-kitabu, it will be the subject of the sentence. Whereas al-kitaba, it would be the object of a sentence. So this is just an example of how i'rab works. So I'm glad you said that we should go over it again, inshallah. So understanding this point, according to their function or role in the sentence, is it the subject? Is it the object? Is it the there's jar, but we'll come into jar later on, and we'll explain the kasra status later on. We shall study these in detail later on. And yeah, we're going to go over this. We're going to spend so much time working out what is the status of this part of this sentence and this word and this ism. As long as you understand and comprehend this sentence. I'rab varies according to the function or role in the sentence. Arabic nouns have 3 types of endings: fatha, damma, and fatha, kasra, and damma. And then the examples for damma: al-kitabu, kitabun, Muhammadun, al-babu, babun. So al-kitabu would be the book. Al-kitabu, the book. Kitabun, a book. The book, a book. Even though it's definite and indefinite, it doesn't change the fact that it's a damma, and therefore it's marfu status. Whether it's a book or the book or many books, because it's a Dhamma, it's marfu. And likewise, Fatha, al-kitaba, the book, and kitaban, I can't really see it, but I'm sure it says kitaban.
Kitaban, yeah.
A book. No matter whether it's the book or a book, definite, indefinite, it doesn't change the fact that its status is mansub because it has a fatha. Because it has a fatha, it's mansub. And same with Muhammadun and Muhammadan and Muhammadin. They all mean Muhammad. They're all ma'rifa because it's a proper noun. It's a proper name. So they're all definite. But depending whether they're the subject or the object or the jar status, is what defines what status they are, what i'rab they have. And same with al-babu and bab, babun. Al-babu is the door and babun is a door. But it doesn't matter because because there's a dhamma, the i'rab is marfu. Marfu and rafa. Likewise, al-baba and baban, the door and a door. But regardless of definiteness or indefiniteness, it's still mansub because it has a fatha at the end. The last letter has a fatha on it. And the same for kasra. Sister Alin started will make it subject directly. Not necessarily, not necessarily subject. It just makes it definite. So for example, al-kitaba is not the subject because it's got a fatha, so it can't be the subject. In most cases, it won't be the subject, but it's still definite. It still has al. It's still the door. So you can say, I hit the door. In that sentence, the door is not the subject, it's the object. Is that clear, Imran? Brother Imran, is that okay? So if I say, I hit the door, al-kitaba, al-baba, the al-baba is the object. So it's not the subject just because of al. Sister Rima, are you okay with lesson 9? Do you have any questions? Can we please also understand the meaning of marfu, mansub, and majroor? No. So this is something that
The meaning of marfu, can I just say something? Meaning of marfu and mansub and majroor, you've just explained. That's what it means.
So they have
status.
Yeah. So they have their linguistic meaning. So for instance, marfu means something that is raised. But the meaning in this case is not important and it will complicate things more than it needs to be. So just like earlier we said that there's two genders. We have masculine and feminine words. Just treat it as like that. You have those two categories. You have masculine and feminine categories, and then you also have these other three categories: marfu, mansub, and majroor.
Yeah.
The individual meanings will complicate things as much as you think they won't.
And Ustad, these are the terms we need to learn. It's not the meaning. We have to learn about marfu and mansub and majroor. So these are the terms we're going to use throughout the whole module. So all of us need to learn these terms.
Marfu doesn't mean dhamma. It doesn't mean dhamma. Dhamma is a sign of marfu. And this is where it gets complicated. So just forget the meaning of marfu. Forget the meaning of mansub and majroor. Just think of it as there's think of it of like ABC. Marfu is A, Mansub is B, Majroor is C, and we're putting them in these categories.
Ustad
So,
Hamzan.
Can I just say something, Ustad?
yes, sure.
For Sister Susanna, I just want to say the status of the last letter, it defines whether it's marfu or nasab or jar. That's all she needs to know. The status of the last letter defines what categories they fall in, whether they fall in marfu status, whether they fall in mansub status, or whether they fall in majrur status. That's what we're talking about in this lesson. Okay, I hope that explains.
Yeah, thank you, inshallah. Sister Rima, any questions on this topic, on lesson 9?
No, she responded saying Alhamdulillah.
She said Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay.
I
We'll
was
move on
gonna
to
I was going to say, just for the benefit of the students, this is an introduction, just want to remind that. I think lesson 37, 38, and 39. So where are we now? Lesson 9 and 10, right? So lesson 38 to 39 covers I'rab. 3 lessons on I'rab. So just to let you know, we're going to go into, and this is where you'll understand what we mean by marfu' or raf'un, nasb and jar. So inshallah, this all coming. This is in introduction, inshallah.
Yeah, that's a very good reminder. Very, very good, important reminder. Ismun ends with Dhamma is marfu. Ismun ends with Fatha is mansub. Ismun ends with Kasra is jar, is majroor jar. Good. Yeah, very correct. Very correct. Correct.
Just one more thing is this is a terminology grammarians have come up with. So we're just teaching what scholars have put together as we touched on the introductory lesson. So this terminology is what is universal. So we're just using those. And I just want to add, it's a representation of something. It's not always Dhamma. It could be something else. It won't be apparent always. And this is why we're using this terminology, because later it gives that flexibility. Later on, when we break it down further, you'll see, inshallah. Is that you, Hamza, writing on the?
No.
Okay, if we can request students not to scribble, because that's for the teachers.
Can I delete it? I can't delete it either.
So I think it's a Zoom.
No, you can't delete it. The person who did it has to do it.
Okay, that's fine. Brother Imran, I just want to check you understood. You got the answer to my. You got the answer to your question about Al. Brother Imran, but
I think he's left.
has he been? Okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll move on to lesson. The last lesson, lesson 10. Again, so type qasmun. I'll just delete that. Okay, type qasmun. Type. When we talk about type, we're purely saying, is it ma'rifa or is it nakira? So again, you can have, there's 2 categories of nouns, ma'rifa and nakira. And we're working out which type it is. The default type of noun is nakira. So in the Arabic language, by default, all ismuns are nakira. Nakira. And they can become ma'rifa through the examples we gave earlier. But the default is nakira. For example, if I say a boy, nakira is unknown, it's indefinite, and it's common. For example, if I say a boy, it doesn't specify which boy. It can be any boy. As long as it's a boy, that's what can be chosen. In this case, the noun boy is common. But if I say the boy, so imagine there's 5 girls and 1 boy, and then I say the boy, then it's specific. Or just a group of people and I say the boy is more specific. Or if I say Ahmed, it's very specific. Even though there might be 10 Ahmeds, you know, there's more than one Ahmed, but it's a definite noun. It's a proper noun. So I've specified the boy, and it will be labeled as ma'rifah. So the two categories of qasm, qasmun, ma'rifah, and nakira. Sister Rima, any questions? Or is that okay? That's all there is to lesson 10. Is it ma'rifah? Is it nakira? Okay, alhamdulillah. Again, anytime you're welcome to ask questions. But now I'm going to ask you all some questions from the vocabulary list, inshallah. So the memorization, we're supposed to memorize 1 to 2 pages per week. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now because I want to test some people, inshallah, and hope that you've memorized them well. So let me just delete this and stop share. Okay. So the first 2 pages, and try not to cheat, don't get your book out. We want to see if you've memorized it, and it's good for you to know if you've memorized it or not. You might think you've memorized it, but then you get stuck when it's time to recall it. So let's see who we have, or who would like to go first? Is there anyone that wants to volunteer for a few words? Do you have any volunteers first? Miss Brother Faisal has his hand up. So we'll go for Brother Faisal Beg first. You can turn your mic on.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah.
So
let's try. I've memorized some. Obviously, I'm not. I know I won't be remember all, but I've memorized some. At least I will have a test.
I'll give you 5 words from the first page, inshallah.
Oh,
so the first one, hada. What does
yeah,
hada mean?
Haza means this male.
Good. And dhalika?
Zalika means that male.
Good. What is the difference between this and that? This is an English question.
This is when you say something which is near to you, and that means when you're talking about something which is far.
Far. Perfect. Okay. Good. I'm going to ask everyone for their English understanding as well, so that the Arabic is very, very clear, inshallah. Okay. What does kalla mean?
I think it means no.
Good. Close. It means never, or it's an emphasized version of no. So it's like definitely not, or certainly not. Good. So that's 3. I'll give you 2 more. Let's go with lam. What is lam?
Not.
Yeah, it means he did not, or did not.
Yeah.
So you would use it with a verb. Lam adhab. I did not go. Lam adhab. I didn't go. So it's for the past. And last one for you. Let's say ulaika.
I've just confused it it's between these or those.
Okay, good. So ulaika are those.
Those, yeah. And how lie these, I think.
Yes, perfect. Haulai is these.
Okay, yeah. So I got a bit confused. It's these or those either.
Alhamdulillah. That's very good. Thank you. Okay, who's next? Let's see. Okay, raise hands. We have Sanika Ahmed. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Brother? I think the mic is not working. Okay. Okay, no problem. We'll move on. I'm going to pick some people, inshallah. I can try on my phone. It's okay. We'll try it for next time, inshallah. Let's go to Brother Amar. Doesn't have a second name on
Yep.
listed. Assalamu alaikum, brother. How are you?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. I'm doing well, alhamdulillah.
How are you finding the lessons?
Yeah, it's finding them really useful so far. Able to learn more of the technical terms, which really helps.
Inshallah, may Allah make you benefit from it. Okay, let's give you alladhi. What does alladhi mean?
He who.
Yeah, so what does he who mean? Like what's the actual context? Try to think of things in the actual context that it would be.
Would it be the one who?
Yes, exactly. So the one who does something. Alladhi, and then there will be like a verb afterwards. So the one who prays or something like that. Good. Okay. Tilka. What does tilka mean?
Would it be those?
In what context?
Those are those who.
Good. What's the difference between tilka and alladhina, or tilka and ulaika?
So ulaika was those who had tilka, ulaika, was it alladhina? Alladhina would be plural, so those who, and then it include a verb as well. So same as alladhina yu'minuna.
Alladhina yu'minuna.
And tilka and tilka, would that be the person who?
So tilka, tilka is, it means that. Tilka, that. So you have dhalika, dhalika. So tilka is the singular, the female singular. Tilka.
Female, and dhalika is masculine.
Okay. Illa.
Except.
So what contents? Or give me a context.
Illallah, except Allah.
So what does that mean?
So no one besides Allah, for example. No
Yeah,
one
so
other
it's
than.
no one other. So it's an exclusion of everything else. It excludes everything else. Illa illallah. La ilaha illallah.
Yep.
Good. And last one, I've given you a harder one, so I'll give you an easy one. Na'am. What does na'am mean?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Alhamdulillah. Good. Okay, jazakallah khair, brother.
Thank you.
Even I need that. But can you ask randomly people so everyone gets a chance?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing so far. I was going to go to Sister Sonia first because she had her hand up, and then I'll come to you afterwards if you want to try. Sister Sonia? Are you there, Sister Sonia? Yasmin? Okay, maybe something has happened. Okay, Brother Imran, you can go. First, did you understand the answer for the question that you gave, Brother Imran?
Yes, brother.
Okay, alhamdulillah, good. Okay.
Assalamu
Sonia. Wa alaikum salam.
Sonia. Sorry, I'm just miss out. Like
No
how
problem.
come I speaker on?
Brother
you're
Imran. Brother Imran, can I ask Sister Sonia first, and then I'll come back to you?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, brother. I need my.
Jazakallah.
Sister Sonia, I will give you what does غير mean?
Not other than.
Not other than.
Other than. Yeah.
Good. And what context would that be in? Like what examples or what does not other than mean in English?
Two people are there. No, something like comparing. No, other than something is better. Other than.
Yes. So one context in terms of other than is not this one.
Not this one. Other one is the best option.
Yeah. And then the example of not. So
Not
if you
remember Surah Fatiha, Ghayril Maghdubi.
Yeah.
so not the ones who have earned your anger. غير المغضوب, not the ones who have earned your anger. Good. Alhamdulillah. Let's go with هذه.
هذه is she's who. The feminine word. She.
Feminine. هذه.
Yeah. Feminine. هذه she. Who's she?
Not she. This.
Oh, sorry. This is she. Yeah. Sorry.
This.
This is
Yes.
هذه. Yeah. هذا. This is. Yeah. هذه is the feminine word.
Yes. Well done. هذه. And then we have okay, last one on this page. Let's go with lan. Lan.
Lam. Lam is did not is a past tense.
Lan with a noon.
Lan. Oh, sorry. Lam. Lan is will not. This is a future tense. Something will not.
Yeah. So what? How would you use this? What does it mean by will not?
Will not. So something in future I'm not doing. I will not this.
Yes. So there will be a verb afterwards. It's like lan adhab. I will never go.
لن تنالوا البر حتى ينفقوا.
Yes. Okay. Jazakallah khair. We'll move on to the second page. Brother Imran. Brother Imran, are you there? Something happened to his internet or
Dropped.
Okay. Anyone else want to have a go? Or I'll pick another one from Layla. Is there another handbook that explains how these words are to be used? No, but that's kind of what we will be here, and you'll learn that in the future as well. So with some of the tools, so for example, if you were to type in nahnu, it will give you all of the contents, the context, all of the versions that you find in the Quran. So that we can do in the future, inshallah. But for now, this is for us to help you on, inshallah. Okay, I will pick another person. Iftikhar. Brother Iftikhar.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry, I couldn't find time to memorize these. Inshallah, next time.
Walaikum assalam. No problem. Inshallah, do your best. Ramadan's coming up soon, so we have to, obviously everyone's busy with stuff and shaitan will make us even more busy. But try your best because it will make such a difference. Inshallah. Okay. I will pick Mohammed Shahid. Mohammed Shahid. No, Mohammed. Okay, sister. Let's go with Sister Layla. No problem. Start Abdul Rashid. Sister Layla, do you want to try?
Sorry, I was actually off sick. I didn't learn at all. Inshallah, next week I would give.
Walaikum assalam. Shifak Allah. Allah give you shifa. So I'm Ustad, I have to go. Okay, alhamdulillah, we're finishing off now. I think if no one has any more questions and no one else wants to have a go, then we can end here.
Ustad, can we know which pages will be for the next week? Is it first 2 pages every day or every week, or so that we can? Yeah.
So next week it will be from pages 1 to 4.
1 to 4, both isim and.
So yeah, all of the 2 pages from this week, and then the 2 pages, the next 2 pages. So every week we'll add 2 pages, inshallah.
No, I think brother was referring, is it isim and fill? Does he need to memorize both?
For module 1, it's just the isim. Just the isim.
Okay, just the isim, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm up for having a go if there's no one else.
Yeah, sure. Okay, bismillah. Okay, second page. Let's go. Sorry, I thought that hand was from before when I spoke to you. Okay, bismillah. I'm going to give you nahnu. What does nahnu mean?
Nahnu was grammar, and then sarf was morphology and how the word changes. So nahnu was the grammar part.
Okay, that is nahu.
Nahu.
Nahnu with a noon dhamma at the end. Nahnu.
Oh, nahnu. We. So be
we. Pronoun, yes.
Good.
We did.
Okay, and let's go with anti.
Be you, female.
Good. Antum.
Antum, you all, more than 2 people, so plural. So 3 people or more. Antum, you all.
And is it masculine or feminine?
Would be
Antum.
Masculine.
Good. Alhamdulillah. Well done. Let's go with hiya. Hiya.
Fiha.
Hiya. So haya.
Haya.
Hiya.
Yeah. Yeah. 。 Haya would be life, but Hiya would be something else. Oh, Hiya would be she.
Good.
Yeah.
So you have huwa and hiya.
Yep.
He and she. Good. Alhamdulillah. Okay, on the left side, let's say, what does ka mean? So if I say kitabu ka, what does ka mean?
Would be your.
Good.
Your.
For male or female?
Male.
Would be male.
Male, yes. So kitabu ka would be ka for male, and kitabu ki would be your for female. Good. Last one, I'll give you. Everyone start messaging, it becomes confusing. Okay, last one. Kum. So if I were to say kitabu kum.
Your book, in terms of you all, more than 3 in male.
Male plural. Perfect. Alhamdulillah. Good. Keep it up, mashallah. Alhamdulillah, we will finish there. Is there any questions?
Yes, Brother. Assalamu alaikum. I've got a question just for my clarification. This is the first lesson I attended last week. I couldn't. I have a question. So we are you're testing on the 85 words in the Quran, which was a PDF that you shared in the group.
Yeah.
But there's also 2 other PDF books, Ism or Noun, or Verb or Fi'l. So can you just clarify for me what are we expected? Are we using the Quran, the 85 word, or are we using the Ism
Okay.
PDFs?
Shall I answer, Ustad Hamza?
Yes, please.
It may actually confuse some people. Well, it is the same content. What we provided before, it is from a very famous organization, very large, worldwide, their activity. It's called Understand Qur'an Academy. You may have heard about it. So their PDF version, PDF file, which they provided, which is fine. But then we thought, because sometime, handling the PDF file, particularly an old version like this, the quality of the print and all this could be. Plus, it's in blue color. If you print it out, it won't look very bright, dark. So we just took the initiative in the last few days. Alhamdulillah, we got it done by some of our admin team. And this is exactly the same. So I would prefer that you use the second version, the latest version of both Ism and Fi'l.
So so Jazakallah, I mean, I think you
ignore the first version, use the second one. Content is same anyway. Yeah.
Okay, so for the 2 pages, are we being tested on the Ism or on the Verb?
At this stage, for module 1, you are doing Ism part. There are 3 sections within the book for the vocabularies. This is just, a preliminary stage. So it is Ism you are doing at the moment. You are not doing Fi'l. Module 1, you are not doing Fi'l at that time. Once you finish the Ism list, inshallah, you will start the Fi'l.
Okay, thanks for the clarification. That makes it so much more clear. Jazakallah.
No problem, brother. Yeah.
Jazakallah.
Thank you for that, Dr. Mahmoud. Okay, alhamdulillah. Are there any more questions in the chat? Let me see.
There is no other questions.
No other questions. Okay, alhamdulillah.
One reminder before they go, Ustad. Obviously, we are asking everyone to watch the video simultaneously, which is very short and very easy to follow as well. And they can repeat it a few times, along with the PDF file, along with the learning they're having from the live classes and the revision classes. Keep watching the video. This will just enhance your understanding. And whenever, as Ustad Zakir has been requesting you, please like, comment, and then subscribe as well. It is something we expect from you, and your support will be greatly appreciated. Okay, inshallah. YouTube videos, do all the little bits and pieces on a regular basis, please. Okay, whenever you watch the video, make sure you like it, comment on it, and then also subscribe our channel.
Inshallah.
Okay, brothers and sisters, inshallah.
Inshallah.
I will end on with Surah Al-Asr. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والأسر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. جزاك الله خير and السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام.
Could our teachers just stay behind for a few minutes, inshallah?
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Abdul Rashid, can you stop the recording, please?